In this free course, I'm gonna be showing you how you can boost your Upwork profile and make hundreds of thousands of dollars on the platform. And just so you know, I'm qualified to talk about this, I make over $1,500 a day doing this on Upwork, and I've been doing it for the last, 180 days in a row consistently. That's hundreds of thousands of dollars that I've made from this method, and I can't wait to show you in this video. And look, let's be honest, most people would put this behind some school community or whatever, but I'm gonna give this away completely for free on YouTube. So the way we're gonna do this course is I'm gonna first talk to you about why boosting is better than proposals and why I've chose boosting as my main strategy on Upwork. I'm also gonna be showing you how to actually boost specifically. We're gonna be going into my profile and actually setting up a boost. Then I'm also gonna be showing you how to track your boosting metrics, and I've got a free sheet for you that you can use at any time to track your boosting metrics and to make sure that you're profitable and so you can scale. And on top of that, I'm gonna be showing my own boosting metrics. I'm gonna be showing you full transparency, exactly how much I'm making from it, what my numbers are, so you can compare yours with mine. And on top of that, I'm gonna show you a few little tweaks and little secrets as well about boosting that almost nobody knows about because nobody talks about it on YouTube. But anyway, this is gonna be a longer video for sure, but I'm gonna go super in depth on this topic. And if you're serious about scaling on Upwork, I would urge you to watch this video. And look, if you want me to just do this for you and help you scale and guarantee your results, then click the link in the description and work with us at upworkwales.com. Anyway, let's jump in. But enough of that promo. Let's jump straight in. So why did I pick boosting as my main method when it comes to Upwork? And why, in my opinion, is boosting better than proposals? So from my perception, boosting is better than proposals for a few of these reasons. Number one, every single six-figure deal that I've ever had has come from boosting. And I'm dead serious here. Every single big deal that I've ever closed, whether it be multi-5 or multi-6 figures on Upwork, like for example, my 160K deal, they were all invites that came from a boosting strategy. And I think the reason for this is because ultimately Upwork is comprised of different types of clients. There's the type of client that will put out a job, sift through all the applicants, and then make a decision and hire somebody. Another type of person is somebody that puts out a job on Upwork, but then actively goes to find the best profiles and invites them to that job. And that is obviously very common with boosting. And then finally, there's some of the best people on Upwork which don't put jobs out at all. And they actually just directly message you on the platform and say, hey, you're my guy, I wanna hire you. And to be honest, about 40% of the clients that I get on Upwork come from DMs. So not even from invites, just clients directly messaging me on the platform. And the rest are obviously coming from invites from boosting. So if you wanna get six-figure deals and big deals on Upwork, boosting is your way to go. It's very rare that you're gonna get a client on Upwork for multi-six figures from proposals. And I haven't done it, but I'm also the only one talking about multi-six figure deals on YouTube. So that's the first reason. But the second reason is probably gonna shock you a little bit. And that is just, it's the lazy way to do Upwork, right? It's the lazy method, right? Lazy way of Upwork. And what I mean by this is you can send proposals all day, or you could just turn the boost on your profile and have hundreds of clients come in and try and pay you. And it doesn't work for everybody, and that's why I'm gonna show you in this video how to do it and actually go through in depth. We're gonna set one up. I'm gonna show you what to track. I'm gonna show you everything. I'm even gonna show you my numbers and what you can expect from how much you get from every dollar that you spend. I'm gonna go super in depth, but ultimately it is the lazy way to do Upwork. Now, I still think that you should send proposals as well as boosting, and I'm a big proponent of that. I don't personally do that, maybe because I'm being lazy, but it's the lazy way to do Upwork. And if you just wanna sit back and have inbound leads, boosting is definitely the strategy for you. And the third reason I like boosting is because boosting ultimately is really easy to track. You're looking at the views, you're looking at the clicks, the invites, and a few other metrics, and tracking this is really easy. It gets more complicated when you're also doing proposals at the same time, but I'm gonna show you how to do that in this video. So again, tracking this is really easy. And actually, I'll say one more thing as well, is that it's extremely profitable, right? I'm gonna give you a little hint. I was gonna save it to the end of the video, but right now, we're making a 16-to-1 on our money. So for every dollar I spend on Upwork Connects, I'm getting $16 back. And by the way, this is over a 6-month period. It's been as high as like $36. So as you can imagine, it's extremely profitable. So definitely, those are the reasons as to why I prefer, boosting over proposals. now some of the cons of boosting is obviously that you can't really control how many clients will actually come to you. Even if you set your boost on max and you just let it rip and you just hope that clients are going to come, it doesn't necessarily mean that Upwork is going to spend those connects to actually give you those clients. So ultimately, proposals will be the best way long-term to guarantee that you get clients. But once you have a really good profile, it's pretty easy. And if you don't know how to set up your profile for boosting, I'm not going to talk about it in this video. I've got an entirely separate video that my editor will put on the screen. It's the profile checklist. And this video is like almost a free course on exactly how to set up your Upwork profile. So definitely go and check that out if you haven't already. And again, if you want us to literally just make your profile for you, do all this for you, set up your boosting for you, and guarantee your results, then click the link in the description and I'll help you. But anyway, now let's move on to the next part of this course. So now that we know why we should boost and why it's maybe better than proposals, now let's talk about what we should actually be doing with the boosting, how to do it, how much we should spend, and so on. And for that, we're gonna need my laptop. So let's jump onto the laptop and let's head over to Upwork. So if you want to boost on Upwork, all you need to do is head over to your profile. You can also do this from the front page of Upwork, but I just think it's easier to do it from your profile. And it's on the bottom left here of your profile. As you can see, it says promote with ads, and there's availability badge and there's boost your profile. Now, when it comes to the availability badge, this is something that you should just leave on forever on your profile, and it should never really turn off. It's literally 1 connect a day or maybe 2 connect a day maximum. So what's that, like 18 cents a connect? It's like $6 a month. It's really nothing in the grand scheme of things, and you should just leave it on. It's less than the Upwork membership costs, and it gives you this cool little available now badge on your profile, and it makes it look pretty. But let's now talk about boosting. And I want to break down every single part of this so that there's like no stone unturned here, because nobody's ever made a comprehensive video about Upwork and boosting, and I want to be the first one to do it on this YouTube channel because I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars with this method, so check it out. So we're going to ignore this video section first. We'll get back to that in a second. But first and foremost, you can either boost with your freelancing account or your agency account. If you don't have an agency account, you won't see this. And in my opinion, you should just boost with whichever one has like better reviews, is more polished, and so on. But I would say for like 80, 90% of the people that are watching this video, you're probably going to have a better Upwork freelancing account, so probably doesn't really apply to you. Like for example, my agency is what? Rising Talent, whereas on this I am top rated plus 200K earned. So yeah, I would just urge you to use your freelancing account and just use the best one to whatever is the best one that you have essentially. Now, when it comes to categories and audiences and specialities, this is going to be very specific to you when you do this. So to explain this, I'll just explain what I do for mine, and then you can kind of pair that and tie it for you. So for example, for me, I do select a category and I do web dev, mobile, and software development. And then for speciality, I do AI integration as well as AI chatbot development as well. Now, I probably shouldn't be saying this because now everybody's going to copy me, but these are the ones that I boost in, and you just need to find the thing that is right for you. So for example, if you're in, let's say, I don't know, Facebook ads, you're probably going to be in sales and marketing. And then from here, you're probably going to be in something like lead gen, or you're going to be in maybe social media marketing, or you're going to be in one of these other ones. Like let's say, for example, you're an email marketing agency, you click email marketing. If you're in SEO, you click SEO, and I actually have a student that's crushing it with SEO. But again, you just pick the one that's closely related to you. And what I would say is that you need to test a few out. For example, when I first started doing this, if I go back to my example, when I first started doing, AI integration, it was crushing, especially. And then I switched to chatbot, and for me, it just didn't do as well. So I've tested many of these out, and what you want to find is, look, ultimately, AI integration is probably always going to be the most competitive, but one of these other ones might not be as competitive, and that's going to mean that you can boost for cheaper and get more results. But again, it might not be the types of clients that you're looking for. So to simplify it, just look at your profile, objectively look at the different projects that you've actually worked on and the type of clients that you want to attract on Upwork, and then just pick a category and speciality. So if you're watching this and you're in AI, web development, that kind of space, then obviously click AI integration. If you're in back-end development, click that. If you're in, crypto coins and tokens, you can click that, right? I'm a big crypto guy. I've been living off cryptocurrency for almost 5 years. A lot of people don't know that. But basically, you can just pick the right thing for you. Now, let's move on to the budget. Now, when it comes to the budget, there's a few philosophies around that, but let me explain each part. So there's the bid per click. This is basically how much are you willing to give Upwork in connects for every single time somebody clicks on your profile. So for example, this could be 50, right, or 60. And remember, every connect is around 18 cents, right? So for, let's say 18 cents times 50, you're basically saying I'm willing to pay $9 for every single click that I get on my profile, if that makes sense. And then conversely, you have the limit, right? And this is the limit amount of connects that you want to spend. So if you're doing total, for example, you might say the total I want to spend is 3,500 connects. By the way, that is the maximum that you can do. And the reason it's yellow right now is because I have less than that in my current account. As you can see, 189 connects. The max you can do is 3,500. Like if you try and do 4,000, it won't let you because it's more than you can do. It has to be less than 3,500. Most people don't know that though because they don't spend that much. But 3,500 is the max. And if it's total, it will just smash your profile with clicks until this amount runs out. And I'll be honest, when I do this, it goes quick. I've went through this before in like 3-4 days. So I've went through like $600 of connects in a few days. So if you're willing to, spend a shitload of money and you have a sick profile and you're confident in your service and you're confident in your ability to close clients, then I would definitely slap this on because you're gonna get a shitload of leads, to put it bluntly. However, if you want a little bit more of a controlled lead flow, then you can obviously click daily. And then for example, you could put like, let's say for example, it was 50 bid per click and you put 500, well, that's gonna mean that you get 10 profile clicks daily, right? Because 500 divided by 50 is obviously 10. So 10 clicks a day. So it's never gonna spend more than that, essentially. And I have spent, I would say, probably $8,000-ish on boosting alone. And I can tell you that it very rarely will reach that top end number. So if you boost daily and you say, let's say you have 50 per click and then 500 limit, it's very rare that you'll actually get 10, right? You might get like 6 or 8, for example. And even with total, if you say 50 and 3,500, right? Sometimes you might think, oh, it's gonna go crazy, like I just said. But sometimes, honestly, and I've experienced this with my one-to-one students, sometimes it's actually pretty slow. Like sometimes it's not that fast. And it takes a while to actually spend all of that. It just depends on how good your profile is and the current volume on the platform whenever you're actually boosting. So if you're a beginner, I would urge you to click daily, and then I would say maybe set it to something like 10 clicks a day. This works well for a lot of people. And then if you're just willing to go balls to the wall and you've already looked at my tracking course, or you've already done some tracking at the end of this video, which you'll see, and you're actually really profitable already on the connects, then maybe you want to go a little bit more crazy with it and see. But you can always see how many total clicks you're going to get down here based on the numbers, right? So 70 total clicks based on 3,500 and 50 bid per click, or 70 clicks daily if you were going to spend that much per day, obviously, which you wouldn't. Here you would only spend like 10, for example. Now you can put a schedule to it, but I've never done that. I don't see why you would do that, and it's definitely not necessary. The only other part that you really need to worry about when it comes to boosting is whether or not you want to use a video for the boost. And to be honest, for the longest time, I never did this. And I still, to be honest, don't really do this. Have I experienced some benefits from this and had some people say, hey, I watched your video, stuff like that? Absolutely. And if you're gonna do this and you really want to do it, then I would just use, as you can see here, the same video that you have on your profile as you're gonna use for your boost. So the same video introduction that you have, you can also slap that in here. But again, I don't personally do this. I don't really care. And obviously I could make it really good with this production, but I don't do it. So that's just my prerogative. And I haven't seen enough data, even after spending like, $7,000, $8,000 on connects, to know that this is necessarily better or worse than not doing it. So try it out, test it out for yourself. What I would say is if you are in a third world country, this might work well for you, because ultimately you'll be able to knock any objections that people might have around you about, like, let's say, English language, or like whether you're like a client, good client facing, for example. And that actually goes for anybody. I only say third world because sometimes people have assumptions about people in like India or Pakistan or Nigeria, for example, that maybe they don't speak English, or they might not be the right fit for the role. But you could prove that by doing a video on your boost. So that's just something else to think about. And that's it, honestly. So like as an example, if I wanted to boost right now, I could literally come in, go web development, AI integration. We're gonna do, let's say 10 bid per click, and we're gonna do, I don't know, 50. So 5 total clicks, right? We'll put it to 100, right? So 10 clicks. And as you can see, my bid is lower than average. And I think currently in AI integration, I think 40 is the bare kind of minimum and lower than average. 50 is like normal. And to be honest, guys, I'll be so real, I've went over 100. So, it's up to you as to what you want to do and how comfortable you are when it comes to your spend. But that's how you boost. And just for context, I'll just actually do one right in front of you. So as you can see, if I boost now, you're just going to get your one step closer to boosting, is in the queue. And when it says in the queue, it doesn't really mean anything. Just leave it. And then eventually you'll see that it's boosted and it's on. You don't need to actually wait for anything. You won't really get any notification other than maybe here. But again, you're boosted now, you can leave it, and you can watch the clicks come in. Now, when it comes to tracking those clicks, I wanna show you how you can track them. So there's a few different ways. So for example, you can come to My Stats and Trends, you can go to Impressions and Clicks, and then I'll just filter for 2026 as an example, and you can see all of the clicks. If I go to the last 7 days, because I haven't really been boosting, I've still been getting crazy clients organically, might I add. But you can see like one day I had 50 clicks in a day, as an example, right? So as you can see, this is one way that you can track your clicks. But on top of that, you can also go to connects, and you can also then go filter by ad credits, and then 90. And then you can look, you can see like during June, I was doing 70, right? And you can see your boosted profile received a click. And if you ever want to just look at this for like a month, what I would urge you to do is just scroll down, keep going, and then just drag from the bottom to the top from here, and then just throw that into your LLM of choice, throw that into Claude, throw that into ChatGPT, and then ask it, how many clicks am I getting per day? How many availability badge connects are being spent? What's the average? What's the total? How much is this costing me based on every connect costs $0.18? You can put all that information in there, and your LLM of choice will tell you a little bit more about your spend and so on. Because let's be honest, Upwork's tracking and My Stats is not very good. I mean, as an example, let's look at impressions. As you can see here, I have less impressions than I do profile views. Doesn't even make any sense. And by the way, check this out. I'm not even boosting, and I still had 1,000 profile views this month, which is crazy. So yeah, not even this month, this week, which is more than like most people get in like 2 months, 3 months. So yeah, this works. And eventually, once you've got a good enough profile, it's all organic anyway. So let's take a little recap here. What have we learned so far? We've learned why boosting is important, why it's better than proposals in some ways, and the pros and cons of boosting versus proposals. We've also looked at how to actually boost as well, and now we know the full context of that. We know how much to spend, and we also know how to track those actual boosted clicks as well. But now let's actually get into the metrics and the tracking of your boosting campaigns. And one thing I would like to say here is I treat these things as experiments. So what do I mean when I say experiments? So if you think about like a scientific experiment, when you do a scientific experiment, you don't change all of the variables while the test is happening. You keep everything exactly the same, and maybe after the test you change one variable, because then you know what is making an impact on the test, right? So it's the same with boosting. When we boost, we don't want to change anything. As soon as we slap that boost on, we want to just stop and let it rip, and we don't want to change anything during that process. And then week to week, month to month, day to day, we want to track these things. And honestly, for me, I just do it like once a week or once a month, but you can obviously go even deeper if you want to. And I have an entire sheet that you can download completely for free. And it's the same one that I use to track my boosting. Now, the link for this sheet is in the description below. You can check it out. It's completely free. You can just make a copy basically. But as you can see right here, we have the date period. We have the total days, the total connect spend, the total connects, the total cost per day. We then also have the views, the clicks, the invites and DMs, the calls, and a bunch of others. And I think it's better if we just go through each one individually so you know what to track and how to track it. So let me bust out the whiteboard here a little bit. And if you want to follow along via the sheet, that's fine. And I'll get my editor to throw it up on the screen at the same time. But ultimately, we'll start with our date period. So we're going to do our campaign. So in this example, it's from the 1st of Jan to the 10th of June, right? 2026. And for us, that is what? 160 days. And we've also spent $7,623 in that period. So $7,623, which is, by the way, 42,350 connects. And that is a total cost per day of $47.6 a day. So about 50 bucks a day. So now we know how much we've spent and the period that it's in, but what are the other metrics that we need to track? And let me explain. So one of the first things that we need to track is the views. So our profile views. Then we also need to track our clicks. Then we need to track our invites and DMs. And the reason we need to track our invites and DMs is because Upwork doesn't track whether you get a direct message, like the example I gave at the beginning of this video, where there's some clients that will just DM you. But Upwork doesn't track that. And in the My Stats section of your Upwork profile, where you can see your views and your clicks and your invites, like I showed a second ago, you can't see how many people DM'd you. So make sure to always track that as well. And then on top of that, you've got your booked calls, and then you've also got your closes, which is basically how many clients did we get. And for each of these, they have a metric, right? So for example, you've got the view to click percentage. You've also got the click to invite and DM ratio, or percentage, should I say. Then you've also got the invite to booked call ratio. Keep saying ratio, I mean percentage, Jesus Christ. Right? To invite to booked calls, let's say BC. And then you've also got the booked calls to closes, so BC to C, percentage. And each of these numbers is important because what we can do with these numbers is we can see where the bottleneck is in the boost, right? So my metrics for this was in views, we had 16,872 profile views. We had 1,119 clicks. We had 349 invites and DMs total. We had 60 booked calls and we had 20 clients. So as you can see, we can work out the numbers now. So our 16,872 divided by the clicks, which is actually 6.63%. We have a 31.19% clicks to invites ratio. We have a 17 to 19% ratio from invites to booked calls. And then we have a 33.33% close rate, which is great. And because of this, we can see where the bottleneck is, right? We can see that, look, the views to clicks is actually not that good. If we could bump this just a little bit, all of these other metrics would get better. But if we just improve this, it wouldn't really make that much of a difference. So whenever you're trying to fix your funnel, always start at the top. Fix the stuff at the top because that will trickle down into all of the other numbers inside of your funnel. Because it's like a drain, it's like blocked, right? Like if it's blocked at the top, then there's only a little bit going to be coming out of the bottom. But if you block like just this part, it's not going to make that big of a difference because there's still going to be many, many blocks that are stopping it from here. But if you stop it, if you make the block out here, everything's going to rush through much bigger. And look, these are my metrics, and this is what's working for me over a 6-month period with, over $7,000 spent. So it's a pretty good number to see. Like you can assume that for every, $50 that we're spending, these are the kind of numbers that you can be expecting every single day. 6.63% of your views to clicks. So every single, let's say 100 people look at my profile, let's say 6 to 7 people are going to click on it. And then from there, out of those, 6 or 7 people that click on my profile, I would say about 31% of those people are obviously going to, invite me or DM me or work with me potentially. And then from there, it's the same, the invites to book calls, the book calls to closes, and so on. And all of these metrics for views, clicks, and invites and DMs can be found in the My Stats section on your Upwork profile. So just go on Upwork, top right-hand corner, My Stats and Trends, and then filter for the period that you're in. And then booked calls you do need to track manually, but I'm bringing out my own TOS compliant, essentially booking system for Upwork, because Upwork doesn't allow you to track the bookings and it's super annoying. It doesn't allow you to make landing pages, doesn't allow you to track how many people booked in calls. It's really messy, so I'm actually making my own one. I'll give that away to you guys completely for free when I have it. And then on top of that, we have closes, which you also need to track. How many clients have you actually closed during that boost? And because of this, if we track this, then we know where the blockers are, we know whether it's profitable. And if we were to factor in other things like our revenue and so on, we can even figure out our revenue per connect. And I would say this is probably one of the most important numbers on Upwork. But on this sheet, we track profit per connect. So if you fill in all of these other numbers like your revenue, your commission to the team, like the costs to your team and so on, it will actually factor in how much you spent on connects and your profit, and then give you this final number, which for us is 16.89. So for every $1 we spend on Upwork Connects, we get $16 back, which is pretty good and means that we can scale infinitely. And that's profit, not revenue. Revenue would be way better. As an example, if you were to look at revenue, it would be 28.15, which is much better, obviously. But look, that is how to boost. This should give you a full context on how to boost on Upwork. And again, if you want to use the free Google Sheet, it's way better than obviously putting it on a whiteboard. And ultimately, you should use this on your tracking. This is what I get my one-to-one students to do. Weekly, me and my team will look at this, figure out where the problem is, and then solve it so that they can scale. And if you want to work with us one-on-one, and obviously click the link in the description. But this is a free course. I wanted to give this away completely for free, and I hope you got value from this video. And if you did, then please leave me a subscribe. Tons of people watch my YouTube channel, but not every single person is subscribed, and I would love to have you here for the long term and be part of this community. And also let me know, are you beating me in some of these numbers? Let me know in the comment section. I'd love to speak to you. I reply to every single comment, and it's still me. It's not AI. Sometimes I'll even send some little voice notes on YouTube as well. But anyway, I'll see you in the next video.